drummer. He seemed to work on a piano like ours. He's going to come out and do what he said, a free estimate. I thought he was going to tune it today, but I think we have a little bit of time constraints. And so I am actually in the car waiting for him to come. And he is an older gentleman, which doesn't matter to me as long as they make the piano. And overcast day. What else? Ukraine and Russia still grinding on, nothing important going on there. I am going to be uploading a video soon, a short one, on the work I've done on the greenhouse, which I spent about 2.5 hours doing that yesterday, putting the screening on it, which was its own adventure. Now, let me adjust this just a little bit because it's got a weird tilt to it. Maybe that's a little bit better. Hey, shalom, whoever is in here. You guys say hello so I know who you are. And I know people are still talking about, like, Iran. There were missiles fired. There's a nuclear deal going on with Iran. I don't know anything about that. Not really watching that news. It's a Ledwin Mayor. Hey, shalom. I'm not really paying attention to the politics because after the initial invasion of Ukraine and Russia's veiled threat to go nuclear, it's kind of tied the hands of people. Shalom Space Daisy. Cute. Cute name. It's kind of tied the hands of the allies. They were getting all huffy and puffy and we're going to do all this stuff to Russia. We're going to stop them. And then when he threatens nuclear, they turn to the economic ties, which I think is smart. I don't think we should get in a nuclear war with Russia in any way, shape, or form. And I think Putin knows that. And it's even possible, I had this thought the other day, that he's just pushing everybody to see what the liberal leaders in the world will do. I don't know. So I've been concentrating because the weather's nice and it's spring on doing the projects, And then I wanted to ask you, because Ledwin Mayor, you made some comments recently on a video. What are you doing with your garden and stuff like that? The weather's going to be 70, so with the screen on the greenhouse, I can roll the plastic up and it doesn't overheat the plants in there. And what I need to do is get the warm weather plants planted, and they'll be happy that the greenhouse gets as hot as it does. And I also today was looking at the my incubator. I stuck duck eggs in my incubator yesterday after much, I gathered the eggs, then I kind of warmed them up to room temperature, and then I looked at the instructions on doing duck eggs, and it's like, no, don't do that thing until you're actually going to put them in the incubator. Put your eggs that you want to incubate into the refrigerator until you're ready to actually put them in the incubator. So put up greenhouse number 2 and starting seeds. Good job. Oh, and get the temperature in your incubator right. And my incubator is an automatic one. It has little turners, but I hadn't used it yet. I'd had another friend using it. So I had to go to YouTube, look up the instructions on how this thing worked, and it looked pretty simple. Just hefe. Wife dropped a whole tray of onions this morning. She wasn't happy. Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't be happy either if I dropped a whole tray of onions this morning. Anyway, I got these things. They're like little humidifier temperature things. And I was told I needed one inside of it so I could check the water level, because it's got to be certain moisture when you do duck eggs. And so it's really quite simple. It's got a little display on it, but it's got the sensor's like on a cord, and the incubator's not that big. And so what I did was I put the cord in the incubator, and then I left this part outside so I could read it. And it wasn't getting up to temperature, and it wasn't reading the moisture level. Like, it was pretty constant around 50%. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, I've added all this water. And then I figured out the whole thing can go inside the incubator, so the lid of the incubator will shut correctly. It wasn't going up to temperature because with the cord in the way, the lid was not fitting on correctly. And so I was in there this morning checking the eggs to make sure they had turned, and put this inside. I've got 3 of these. So this one's going to my greenhouse. That's the whole point of making here, a lead one. This one's going to go in my greenhouse. So I actually know what temperature is in my greenhouse, and I'm probably going to use the 3rd one in my house because Pastor and I don't have a thermometer in the house right now. So we get up and it's cold, and we throw on, 3 layers of clothes, and then we get warmer and we take some off. But I'd like to know the actual temperature in the house. So what I did is I ordered a hydrometer that doesn't have this thing. It's only about this big. I think it came in a 4-pack from Amazon. So they'll show up like tomorrow. But I did that while I was waiting for the piano guy also to come and to adjust the amount of water in the incubator. Hey, shalom, shalom. Say hello, y'all. I see there's more of you in here. Thank you, Space Daisy. Yeah, so I'm going to use these in the greenhouse, and I got the water level adjusted in the incubator, so now it's reading at the right humidity. It's got to be around at least 55% when you're doing duck eggs, because they got to stay moist. There's McMikey. Shalom, McMikey. Hey. Waiting on the next tuner guy. Now, I don't know if I'm going to stay live. I could stay live for watching him, but I don't know how it's going to go. Hey, shalom, Grace Acres, is that you? Yeah, Grace Acres, shalom. And there's Franklin Farmstead. Howdy, Sister Kate. Howdy to you too, Franklin Farmstead. Waiting on the piano guy, second guy, different guy. Said he thinks he can probably help us. There's Mrs. Lovely Dudley. Shalom. Hey, I sent your husband a thing on Instagram. Are you guys going to milk that nanny? Because now is the perfect time if you're going to do it. When she has had kids, she's going to have a supply of milk. And all you have to do is start milking her, and she will increase her amount according to how much you milk her. So if you were waiting or ever curious or anything like that about it, now is the time for you to try milking her. Even if she has really little teats and a really little udder, it creates. We were just talking about that. And I'm right here. I'm live. If you guys have questions about it, I sent him pretty detailed instructions. And you don't have to use a lot of force on a goat. Like with a cow, you've got to use your whole hand, and you strip the udder of the milk. With a goat, you just kind of put the teat in the top of your finger right there. Here, we're going to have a quick goat milking lesson. Let's pretend this is her udder, okay? And this is her teat. You take your hand, this part, and you squeeze the milk into the teat. And it'll be like if it was a water balloon. And if you squeeze it like this, then it's in the teat. And then you just roll your fingers down, and it'll push the milk, or in this case, water, out the bottom of her teat. That's all you. Sorry, we lost service there for a minute. And you just have to make sure that you're washed with like warm water, and her udder is washed, especially the end of the teat, because that's where bacteria can get in. But if you're, not milking in a dirty, filthy thing, that's all there is to it. Now, what I normally do is I make a milk stand, but you don't have to. You could just tie her like to a tree, or Dudley could put her head between his legs and hold her. But I usually bribe her. I on my milk stand, I give them something like Sweet Feed or Scratch or something like that. Hey, Mike, we're just talking about milking a goat right now, Mike, but the whole reason for the live stream is because I'm waiting for the piano tuner to show up, the second one, to look at our old piano. Anyway, like if you have a bucket and you put the Sweet Feed in it, you can she'll just stand there. You can have Dudley hold her or whatever. And then she's not going to want you touching her udder right away. She'll probably like lift a foot up or whatever. But if you let her know that you're going to do it, no matter if she fusses or not, you don't have to like grab her leg or anything. You just let her keep eating that sweet feed and go ahead and put your hand on her udder and go ahead and milk, even if she like kicks a foot up. Sometimes they'll stand on both front legs. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But if you're holding her or if she's tied, you still go ahead and milk no matter what she does. In like 3 days, she'll figure it all out. She'll love the fact she's getting sweet feed or corn or whatever you give her. It's like ice cream to them. It's like a dessert. And by the 3rd day, and with a lot of goats, it's the 1st day. They will calm down, understand, okay, if I stand here and she milks, I get this sweet feed. It works really well. And then you guys have milk that's not going to cost you $15 a gallon. And it's really good for you. It's easy to digest. You can raise babies on it. You can raise kittens on it. Kind of like when babies aren't happy about getting a butt changed. Just keep at it. Right. Just keep at it and they stop fighting. They figure out, okay, it's just a thing. It's not painful. It's not scary. I'm getting ice cream. It's good. And then when you have the milk, run it through a paper towel. Like if you have it in a pot, I told him it's really good if you have a stainless steel pot, but let's just pretend you milk your first time. You don't intend to drink it your first time. You want to try it. You milk into a pot. If you were going to drink it, you just put a paper towel over like a glass jar and pour the milk through it just to get the hair and whatever leaf stick, whatever that falls in the milk, and then refrigerate the milk. And it's good, I'm telling you. And if inflation keeps rising, milk is going to get really expensive. As a matter of fact, Dudley posted that video on Instagram of that milk truck driver saying, you know, gas is $1,000 to fill up my truck. Your milk's going to be $15 a gallon. You guys would have free milk. If you milk twice a day, 12 hours apart, ish. And I'm not saying it has to be perfect, but ish. That's the most supply and demand schedule for her. If you milk her regularly twice a day, she will supply milk in the best amounts. So let me see if you have any questions. If all you have is 1/4 to 1/2 acre, what breed of goat do you recommend? DL, I'm pretty sure you can put 6 to 8 goats on an acre. So if you have a 1/4 acre, I would get 2 goats, and it depends on what you want to do with them. If you want meat goats, you get Boer goats. They are a heavier breed for meat. If you want a dairy goat, I like Alpine, but there's many dairy goats. Saanens are good dairy goats. Nubians are good dairy goats. So yeah, you could have at least 2. And it's good to have 2 goats because they're a herd animal and they like it. There is Nittaviller Forge. There's Hunter Kirk. Shalom. If you guys now, a mistake I've seen people make, and you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it this way, is because she fusses, because, you know, the first time you're touching her, if you've never touched her, she may not like it. The first time she fusses, hang on, you guys. Sorry. Shalom. So time you touch her, a mistake I've seen people make is because she might fuss a bit or kick a bit, is they tie all the legs of the goat and then try to milk her. She's not going to like that. Do that to your goat. Don't stress your goat out that way. Just do what I said. If she fusses at all, just keep milking. It doesn't matter. And I really recommend you guys try it just because of the supply you're going to have. And she'll milk for, you know, at least 5 or 6 months. You're going to get milk from that goat. And it's good for you. It's easy to digest. Anyway, if you guys have questions or comments, please throw them out there because I'm still waiting. He's late. He was late. He's supposed to be here a half hour ago, so he's already late. I milk a goat when I farms it. There you go, says Lost Light. Will do, thank you. You're welcome. I mean, this is the prime opportunity. If your kids don't make it, then your goat's having milk and she's not having anyone help her with the milk production, as you know. But if you wait 2 weeks down the road, the supply demand thing will already happen and she won't be giving milk anymore. But since she kidded so recently, now is the prime window for you. Excuse me, yeah. Can you freeze goat milk like cow's milk? Yes, you can. The thing about freezing milk is when it thaws out, it's kind of separated. It's not quite the same consistency, but it's the same product. And you can freeze yogurt too, but frozen yogurt usually comes out very liquidy, and my husband doesn't like the texture, but I do. All right. Does anybody have any more questions or comments? Anyone getting the garden in? McMikey, if you've been watching news, and I know you're on other people's live streams, what do you think is an issue we all need to hear about right now? There's Grandma Ginger's farm. Good morning, Sister Kate. Good morning to you, lady. I loved your comment on my video about the project down in the orchard. What did you say? Oh, it was precious. Pallets, baling twine, and fence panels are homesteading necessities or something like that. And it's so true. It's one of those, well, I've done so many projects and add a tarp in there, and now you've got basically housing with fence panels. Our whole goat pasture in the bottom part of our property is made of fence panels tied to the trees. We don't even really put fence posts up because we have so many trees down there. And we just tie it with baling twine because we may want to move the panels. And it's so much easier to just cut the baling twine, move the panel, and retie it to some other tree. Plus, it doesn't damage the tree. I just think it makes a whole lot more sense. We are beginning winter sowings, beets, mustard, and more comfrey. You know, I bought a comfrey plant last year, and I put it in a planter, and it was doing fine. And then the goat herders on the property let the baby goats run all around all summer long, and they ate all of my weed herbs down. So I'm hoping the comfrey comes back. I'm going to empty the tubs today and get them ready for planting. What kind of tubs are they? Grace Acres. Something else that's really useful on a farm and sometimes happens just because when people buy the mix, the protein mix or whatever for steers, they're in big heavy duty plastic black containers or blue containers. And those things are excellent storage. They're really very strong and they hold a lot of stuff. My son uses those to put grain for his milk cow in, but you could put hay in there or other things too. We started our greens last week, and I'm going to start the tomatoes and such today, says Franklin Farmstead. Franklin Farmstead, are you going to start them in your house, or do you have an outdoor thing too, like a greenhouse? And when I say greenhouse, y'all saw mine. Mine is like, it's like the redneck wired together greenhouse. It's not a fancy nice greenhouse like reap what you sow's husband made her an absolutely lovely one out of a bunch of old windows. Mine's just it's like the AK-47 of greenhouses. It's just very peasant. Haven't seen anything new or worthwhile. I watched videos this weekend about raising and processing meat chickens. Love the equipment they use, especially the feather remover, right? And they're kind of essential, Mikey. The feathers are really hard to remove, and you've got to like scorch the bird in boiling hot water first and then throw them in there, and then they roll it and the feathers come off. It's so much easier than plucking them. But I'm even lazier than that. I just skin mine. I just skin the bird. As a matter of fact, Great Acres plants in those, right? You plant in the protein buckets, and my herbs are planted in buckets like that somebody cut the top off, and they've worked really good. Hey, made it to one of your live streams again. Yay! Welcome, Lone Star Living. Call out to you, shout out to you for being a supporter of the channel. And I would like to know how you're doing with your sheep. There's Aid. Aid, what time is it there? It's got to be like 5 in the morning. I'm just waiting on my piano tuner, my second piano tuner. He was late before. He's late now. He's supposed to have been here half hour ago, and he wasn't. And so I'm still waiting for him. I hope he has a GPS. He hasn't texted me since. If he starts showing up, I will probably get off the live stream just so I can pay attention to him. 1648 hours, 4:48 p.m. Is that p.m.? Have a great day, everyone. Off to a meeting. Hunter Kirk, good luck in your meeting. After this live stream, I may see how Tim's Pool's chickens are doing in Chicken City. I've never seen Tim Pool's chickens. Does he have a really nice setup? Does he have does he call it Chicken City because he's got a lot of coops? Sheeps are great. Love them. Need a new ram, though. I want to change breeds. Want Katahdins or St. Croix. Yeah, I think the ones that Pastor Joe got are Katahdins. And the nanny, the oldest goat that we got, she was a little hefty when she showed up. She's been on a little bit of a diet. She had the most deep throaty, I'm like, she sounds like a linebacker. Longer soak in hot water takes skin and feathers off more neatly. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's evening time. It's 4:48. So you're about to have dinner, Aid. Do you know about the bird flu going around? I do, Just Ken. I don't know how much it's been in the news lately because I haven't been watching the news, but bird flu is not a new flu. It is a flu that's been around. I think the first breakout in America that they recorded was maybe in the 30s, like 1930s. So it's not an offshoot of, I'm trying to adjust the seat too, so I don't have to lean forward. It's not an offshoot of, what's coming to my brain is Omicron. That's our latest pandemic. It's not an offshoot of that. It is just a version, a variety of the flu. And it affects birds of all kinds, but where it breaks out normally is huge commercial chicken farms like are found in China, in other countries where the birds are very, very crowded together and they're not. He live streams his flock on YouTube and the channel is called Chicken City. Man, I should live stream my ducks. That's really smart of him because the way YouTube works, the longer you're on a live stream, the more views you're racking up. And so you're getting more money by doing that. So if he just live streams his chickens, he's actually getting a lot more money than if he made videos about them and uploaded the videos. So that's really smart of him. So back to the avian flu. It can affect wild birds and stuff too, but normally wild bird flocks aren't so big and always crowded together like commercial birds, and especially in places like China, who you're producing a lot of birds because everyone's eating the birds and so on and so forth. 24-hour duck cam, that's what I'm talking about. So what it normally does is make them all sick and many of them die. And so it's really easily spread in commercial overcrowded locations. And so to save the flocks and not lose all that money, the people who are breeding chickens like that immediately start killing all the whole flock where this avian flu breaks out. And so what you're looking at is a big loss to the supply, a big loss to the business. And I heard on the radio, I don't remember if I was listening to, what do you call it? NPR, or somebody was interviewing someone from our Department of Agriculture, or possibly the state agriculture, what am I trying to say? Not association, but state representative for agriculture in the state where one of the breakouts was, and I think it was Indiana. And that lady said, like, they take it very, very seriously. They quarantine the whole farm where the breakout is. They disinfect all around it. They go in and kill the whole flock, dispose of all the bodies, disinfect the buildings, because what you don't want is this avian flu from the commercial thing getting into a wild bird who then flies it to another location somewhere near another big chicken or turkey farm, and that farm then getting the avian flu, and so on. It's a hang on, y'all. Let's see. That's my camera guy. Give me a second here.